You are not selling poison, okay? You are not taking something terrible and selling it to people, are you? Now, if you are, then don't use any of the ad strategies that I recommend on this podcast. But I'm pretty sure 100% of you listening right now, you are not selling poison. So stop feeling bad about selling. I have to make it super clear that advertising is the process of making known. What are you making known? What you have to offer. The only way people can get what you have to offer is if you sell it. Okay? So we have to start thinking about how we're thinking about selling. And, I had someone very recently tell me that they were very upset that they were in a sales funnel. And I was thinking about it because I saw on this woman's profile that she stated that she is faith-based and believes in Jesus. And she was extremely disappointed that she was being sold to. And so I was looking up in the Bible the verses about how it is biblical to sell. And so I know I don't often go off on a I don't go into every verse of the Bible. And my faith is a very, very big and important piece to my life and my business. And so in this specific instance, I wanted to share with you how I like to think about the Bible and how it just speaks to selling and why that is a good thing. And so on today's episode, I'm going to share with you beliefs about selling in your advertising. Actually, 5 things I'm going to share with you, okay? Why it's biblical to sell is the first one of those 5. And by the way, before I jump in, I would like to sell you into the Win with Paid Ads Challenge. And why am I so sold on selling you to come to the Win with Paid Ads Challenge? And why on every episode do I sell and share with you the value of the Win with Paid Ads Challenge? And it is because I know for certain that when you win with paid ads, everything in your life can change. You can impact more people. I believe you were created to create, so you can actually do the thing that you feel so fulfilled doing and were meant to do and have a gift to do. And I know that when people can't find you, you will begin to resent your business and you'll get frustrated and you'll waste a bunch of time doing anything else. And I have stories like Kelly, my client Kelly. She owns a life insurance agency. She is in my highest program where we are one-on-one, and I'm essentially her CMO on the go for a year. And she just got her ad set up just last week and has 2 people. I repeat, 2 people who are already with less than $200 on ads in her first week doing it, that are getting licensed to be a life insurance agent. She is recruiting through the method that I teach. So just want to share, not only can you use ads for people to find your business to buy your products, you can also use ads to hire. One of my clients, Jacqueline, she owns a school for children with autism and has used Google Ads to hire. And Kelly is already getting her return on ad spend in the first week of launching ads, and she just got started. Can you imagine when she refines for a year? Lord have mercy. And the way that one teammate in her business can generate 5 to 6 figures of revenue for her for less than a couple $100s on ads, I'm blown away. I know that the value is there because I know that price is only, that I like to price what I have to offer based on the value that it can provide. And I know that the value that advertising can provide for you, your family, your business, your customers is multiple 7, if not 8 figures and beyond. And so it is very easy to sell you. In fact, that's one thing I learned from my coaches is that the more you sell, the more sold you are. And yes, the more I've sold, the more sold I am of what I have to offer because I watched the people that happily bought, they got the result. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's people out here just waiting in tears, crying because they finally were able to speed things up and get found in their business. And so you will attract the type of buyer that you are. And if you are unwilling to pay, you will be unable to charge. And that is something that I learned from my coach, who's a sales coach. Thank God for the sales girls and sales coaching, because understanding why selling is a good thing has changed my life. And what I found is the people who are getting the least amount of sales hate sales. And they hate it, maybe because they've had some challenging things happen with them, right? Like they've had bad buying experiences. Maybe they got sold and they felt so pressured to do something they didn't want to do and it went terribly. That's not cool. And there's 2 sides to everything. For every bad sales experience, there's a good one. For every bad performing ad campaign, there's another one that can work really well. For everything, there is an equal and opposite. And so it's really important that if we're talking about advertising here, the whole point is you make known what you have to offer, what you were created to create. And the only way that you get to offer that is if you sell it. So I remember I voice memoed Macy. I was like, Macy, you need to do some content. Some people are struggling with selling. I'm just like, they don't want to buy when they have to get the transformation. And I was like, you need to go make some content. And she was like, you need to make some content on it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. So here we are. You don't sell poison. You have something great, something so valuable. And so I want to read to you the first thing about this that I wanted to share is it is biblical to sell. And so I want to share just a few key verses with you. Proverbs 31, you may have heard, if you do frequent to the Bible, you may have heard of the Proverbs 31 woman. And I want to share with you some verses from Proverbs 31, okay? So Proverbs 31:16 says, she considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. So she saw an opportunity, she invested in it, and generated profit and revenue, right? And this shows that she is strategic, she invests wisely, and makes business decisions that generate profit. The second verse is Proverbs 31:18. It says, she sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. It says this confirms that profitability is good and she diligently works to sustain and grow her business. Proverbs 31:24 says she makes linen and garments and sells them. I'm sorry, what? She makes linen, she makes something valuable. She creates something valuable and then she sells it and it's in the Bible. Why, yes. And she supplies the merchants with sashes. What does this mean? She is directly engaged in making and selling products, providing that e-commerce is a part of a virtuous life. And so if you really think about the biblical perspective on selling, honest and ethical business is praised. What I'm not telling you to do is go advertise something terrible. To go say, yes, I am going to be your coaching consultant and I charge $1 million and I have no experience. I just want money. No, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about advertising the thing that you really can do that sells and adds value. That when you sell, it propels, right? So if you sell something that propels someone, it makes their life better. It gives them joy, relief, confidence, ease, happiness, financial freedom. If you have something that helps someone and you're not selling it, you're doing a disservice to the people that you were created to create for, right? So the Bible says honest and ethical business practice is praised. The Proverbs 31 woman doesn't just sell, she does so with wisdom, integrity, and diligence. It says that hard work and profitability are good. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that she should feel guilty for earning money. In fact, her business allows her to care for her family and give to others. I want you to think about the most generous person that you know, the most generous, the most giving. They just give. They are so others focused. And I want you to think about the person who you feel like just is so not generous. They keep everything to themselves. They just want. They want from you. They want everybody else. And they're like so scared to give. They totally could be generous. They just choose not to. Which one is more happy? It's the person that gives, isn't it? You know, I may have told this story before on the podcast, but if so, it's been a minute. I went to Haiti on a mission trip and there were these kids and we were playing soccer in dirt. Okay. So it was just that, you know, that hard dirt. And it's like, it's hard as a rock. I guess clay maybe. And it gets really dusty. And I had some shoes on and they were getting really, really dirty. And this mother who lived in Haiti, she lived in a tent on the ground with her 3 kids. I remember she showed me inside the tent, they had like 2 cans, which is where they use the restroom. And it was this big open can in their tent. And she had a little bit of food in there. And we were there and we were helping them build a church, like actually build the building. And we were able to provide food and just love and just play with these kids. And I remember this woman walked up to me because I had tripped with my shoes. They were just like not conducive for soccer. And she only owned 1 pair of shoes and she took her shoes and offered them to me. She said, gift, like this is for you. And I was sitting there thinking, someone who has the very least is the most generous person I know and is also one of the happiest people I know. Like someone with so little was able to be generous and happy. And it's crazy how we can like justify in our brains and sell ourselves on why we don't have enough to do what we want with our money. And you do. You can create margin and generosity. That's why what Kyle and I do is our generosity is automatic. So we do automatic giving. So we just have it come out of our account every single week and it's just automatic. No, it's every single month. Yes, it's monthly. And it's just this reminder that being generous and being able to be exponentially generous, it is such a gift. And the more money you make, the more money you'll be able to give away, the more impact you'll be able to have. And there should just be no guilt in you selling what you have and charging the value for what you have to offer is. And like I said, I'm not talking about selling bad things. I'm not talking about jacking up a price with no experience or history. That doesn't make sense. What does make sense is saying, I'm so proudly going to pursue selling and sharing about what I have to offer. That is what advertising is going to allow you to do. It's going to open the doors for you to sell. And it's a good thing to sell and that people are waiting on you. Okay. And it is biblical to sell when you do it honestly and ethically. And it also says entrepreneurship is a way to serve. So this Proverbs 31 woman, she provides valuable goods and contributes to the economy, which aligns with biblical principles of stewardship and provision. So selling isn't just okay, it is wise, it is honorable, and it is biblical when done ethically. Okay. So I want you to really think, are you the person that buys the cheapest thing, or are you the person that sees value and is like, thank God I'm in a sales funnel? Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like, thank God I was sold? I know I sure do. I sure as heck do. I'm so glad someone sold me on my home. I'm so glad someone sold me on some books. I'm so glad someone sold me on this lighting. I'm so glad someone sold me on paying someone to help me write the book. Like, thank God someone sold me so I could save time and learn and become a better person and a better version of myself, right? So if someone ever looks at you and says, I'm in a sales funnel, there's no purpose. There is no transformation without information, right? And so to pay for the information that someone acquired so that you can have that transformation is such a gift, right? So it's biblical to sell. Number 2, you were created to create. Number 3, I already shared this, but you attract the type of buyer that you are. We already talked about that one. Number 4, the more you sell, the more sold you are. And I told you that example of Kelly, my client who owns a life insurance agency. Well, I have another one for you. One of my clients in my highest level package, actually. So these are the people that paid the most, mind you. The people that like made a nearly 6-figure investment to say, yes, let's work together. Let's figure out this ads thing for the long term. And, you know, you've heard me say this, but people who pay attention, and people who pay the most, in my experience, pay the most attention. And so if you ever feel this tension in, is this the right investment for me? If whether it's $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, whatever feels uncomfortable to you, that is the sweet spot. Start there. Because when you feel like you're paying a lot, you'll pay a lot of attention, and it'll be the best thing for you. And I know that because I've seen it for me and I've seen it for my clients too. Your discomfort, your willingness to stay in your comfort zone is the thing preventing you from that next level zone that you know you're capable of. Okay. So, one of my clients, her name is Emily. She does, what I like to call in my normal terms, bulk photography. Like she does like big organizations or teams or schools. It's really called volume photography. And so she has a very successful volume photography business. And she turned on her Google ads, and in less than a month, she's gotten multiple leads of 5-figure deals. And I'm like, yeah, this checks out again. There she goes. She's probably going to get her investment back in this partnership in the first month or two. And then the whole rest of it is just gravy. It's just like more on more on more on more on more. Oh, and by the way, she gets to take these skills and use them for the rest of her life. That is why it is so easy to charge when you based it on the value that you can provide. And that is why you have to sell, because there are people like Emily, there are people like Kelly, and there are so many other people that are waiting on you to say, hey, here's what's possible for you when you buy this thing. And whether it makes the money, like I said, you could sell, you own a plumbing business. Thank God you sell people on the fact that you can come save their, plumbing from leaking, because it'll cost them so much more down the line if they don't fix it. And I want you to think about how every single thing, every living, breathing thing that you're in right now, looking at right now, consuming right now, is because you were sold. Someone sold someone on this camera, on this tripod, on this table, on this chair, on these shoes, on these jeans, on this jacket, everything. Thank goodness someone sold someone about coffee and food and restaurants. If people didn't sell, we wouldn't have lights. I wouldn't have a fan. I wouldn't have a house. You have to sell what you have to offer. It is critical to the mission of life. And in Business Secrets from the Bible, I want to give you a summary of this book, okay? So Business Secrets of the Bible, it's written by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And it really, this is like the summary of the book, okay? It says, selling is an act of service, not selfishness. The world thrives on exchange. When we sell, we solve problems, we meet needs, and we create value for others. Without selling, economies collapse because no one can access the goods and services that they need. The book reframes selling as moral responsibility, showing that wealth is created through serving others effectively. Wealth is created through serving others effectively. And ultimately, refusing to sell isn't humility. It's withholding the impact and solutions that you were meant to provide. So, is my goal of this podcast to ultimately guide you to the Win with Paid Ads Challenge? Yes. Is one of the goals of this podcast to truly leave, whether you ever decide to join the challenge or not, and leave you feeling encouraged and inspired, and to think about advertising differently, and to give you strategies and thoughts and frameworks and experience, even if you never buy a thing? Absolutely yes. It's both. I love being able to give you value. I love being able to give you even more value at a higher level, because I know that your happiness, your impact, your children's, just the way that they learn from you as you become a business owner that's successful, like how they think about life and business, it is all on the line here. And I know that. And so, yes, I will sell. And yes, you should sell, and you should feel so proud and honored that you get to sell, and you get to propel other people with what you have to offer too. And the more you sell, the more sold you are. And I really want you to think about the next time you're like, man, am I getting sold here? And I want you to think about, if you are feeling some hesitation, why am I feeling hesitation? Is it because I had a bad experience in the past? Is it because you're having trouble selling yourself? Or like you're actually struggling with sales? Could that be the thing? Why is it that we have this when someone sells us? And why is it that some of the most successful people that you know love being sold to, love getting the opportunity to sell? I actually look forward. I have a call in about 45 minutes as I record this. And it is a conversation with someone where I get to sell them on the value of paid advertising. And I freaking can't wait. I cannot wait to learn what matters to her. And I cannot wait to learn to see if she is a good fit for any of the programs. And yes, I do tell people they're not a good fit. Someone was like, do you ever say, no, this isn't for you? Absolutely. When I had someone who I shared recently that was not a good fit for my highest tier package, because I know in my soul that they were not a good fit, and working together with that individual would have been an ever-loving nightmare, and it is not worth it. It's not worth the money, right? And every time I bless and release and I say this is not it, and I say no to the money, I never regret it. And I don't know if it's God doing what God does, but it feels like he blesses it financially, emotionally, mentally. And so, yes, I do say no sometimes when it is not the right fit. And I cannot wait to sell because I know that it can propel. And so I really want you to think about that with your advertising too, that it's okay for you to say your price. It's okay to charge your value. It's okay to advertise. It's okay to sell. And people are waiting for you. And I'm looking at everything online. I wrote, thank God for a sales funnel. Thank goodness we get retargeted when we go to look at a recipe for something we want to eat. Thank God someone reminds us of that recipe, or to join their email list, or to watch their YouTube video. Like everywhere we go, we're in a sales funnel, whether we realize it or not. when you buy one thing from a website, you're in a sales funnel to get, do you ever notice how you buy a product online and oh my gosh, no, they didn't just email you a week later or a day later over and over and over again indefinitely. You buying one thing means you're walking into a sales funnel. Every podcast, every YouTube video, every book, you're in a sales funnel. And thank goodness for sales. So I hope that was helpful as you think about how you're going to sell what you have to offer. And people are really excited to hear from you. And now this is my reminder, as I sell you so gladly and happily into the Win with Paid Ads Challenge, where we can meet live for 5 days. It is a transformative experience, and it's why I offer a 10 times money back guarantee. So when you do the VIP room or general, either one, you do either of those rooms, if you don't feel like you got 10 times the value that you paid to sign up for that challenge, we give your money back happily and gladly. So I can't wait to see you in the Win with Paid Ads Challenge. You can click the link below, sign up, or go to ashleybrock.com/challenge. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode.